After the recent article from Philip La talking about how Axie Infinity is moving over to play and earn, the future of Axie Infinity has been put into a question mark. Now, Nansen has released a good article talking about the future of Axie Infinity, and they have shown statistics as well as graphs to show how Axie Infinity has been doing in the last weeks. So, introduction 2021 was the year where we saw the rise of blockchain games, and Axie Infinity was obviously leading that charge, having a lot of users coming to the space, having a lot of NFTs traded, and having a lot of revenue generated on the Ronin network. Play and earn is the concept where gamers are able to earn while playing games, and the act of gaming has always been generating economic value, but that value is only captured by game developers. And you can see the model that play to earn games are trying to create, or are creating right now, moving from the traditional games. In traditional games, the developers create a game and then they cash in from the players. That's as simple as that. Players use or buy cosmetics, and then that cash is redistributed to developers. Now, when it comes to play to earn games, things get a little bit more complicated, as players can stake, they can vote, they can purchase assets which have transaction fees. Those transaction fees go into the game ecosystem, and then everyone that is staking the tokens, they can then use those tokens as a vote to have some sort of an impact on where the game should be heading. Now, community DAO is nowhere near for Axie Infinity, so that's a perfect world scenario for play to earn games, whereas the actual DAO for Axie Infinity will not be here until 2023, possibly late 2023. So for those of you that don't know what Axie Infinity is, I hope all of you do. It's a card game based, which allows you to earn the token of SLP when you play it, and that has value in real life. But what we have to observe here is the daily revenue for Ronin, which is the chain that Axie Infinity is built on, which is a layer 2 Ethereum chain. And you can see right here, marketplace fees in green and breeding fees in the sort of purple color. And you can see when the spike happened. That was July 2021, and then August you can see the biggest spikes. That's when I got into the game, and then September, October, November, slight decline, but there was still a lot of breeding fees, there was still a lot of marketplace fees in the millions. And then you can see after December there is a giant decline, which is still continuing to this day. January, February, it's below $1 million for the marketplace fees as well as the breeding fees. People are simply not breeding, they're simply not buying as much as they used to, because they're not that interested in the game, and they simply don't want to do it because season 20 is the last season on. What we have is the Battles V2, and then Origin will come into play. If you look at the cumulative revenue for USDT, you can see that it also flattens out around here, and that graph might look very, very pleasing, very appealing, but what we have to observe is this flattening of the curve. People are simply not joining the game as much as they used to. One thing to note, the large drop in daily revenues post December 22nd is mainly due to an update to the game where the team decided to reduce breeding fees. That's actually not true, because if they reduced breeding fees, then people would breed more, right? But what they have done is they have tripled the fee of SLP, thinking that that would be a band-aid solution to the SLP economy, which was having way too much inflation. But that did not happen, because people simply stopped breeding, as that was no longer profitable. So what happened is SLP still was on the decline, it still was going down in value, and people simply stopped breeding, so we had no effect, and it definitely was not reduced. Axie Infinity Marketplace dashboard, you can see right here another decline in the daily volume of ETH as well as USDT. On January, that is going below $5 million, which is on the level of games that are popping up right now, which is Axie and other games in the space that will be coming out soon, and 5 million in this space is simply not that much. But again, if you look at the cumulative one, then it looks very, very good, as they have obviously crossed the 4 billion mark as the first NFT project to do that. 1 billion, 2 billion and 3 billion, as well as 4 billion now. Axie Infinity is the first one to break these records. The game currently has over 2.8 million unique addresses, holding over 11 million Axies, with 97% 90% of those addresses holding at least 3 Axies. Well, they are mostly holding exactly 3 Axies, not at least, exactly 3 Axies, and we're gonna move over to that in a second. You can see right here, no number of Axie holders and Axies. The number of Axie holders is pretty much the same as the amount of Axies in the marketplace. And number of Axies per holder, this is a very interesting graph that I would like to zoom into, because most people are holding 3 Axies. We can see right here, it is about 80, sometimes 85% of people are holding exactly 3 Axies, which means that the team has massively failed to incentivize people to hold more NFTs than just 3. And that is based off of the energy system that they have created. Whereas if you hold 3 Axies, you have exactly 1 team, you have 20 energy, and then you have to make the jump to 10 Axies, which gives you 40 energy, doubling up, right? But that doesn't make sense, because why would you be buying 7 more Axies to double up your energy? You're better off creating another 2 scholarships where you have passive income and those Axies are put into better use. So I think this is a giant flop from the team, not being able to recognize that most people hold 3 Axies and not incentivizing them to hold more Axies. I think the energy should be scaling with each Axie that you hold, and those Axies there should be a rental system like PegAxie has. So let's say you are a scholar and someone is renting 3 Axies to you. You would be incentivized to then swap your SLP and buy Axies from the marketplace, therefore increasing the marketplace fees for the game and also keeping players within the ecosystem. Because if you are a scholar right now, frankly, there's no way for you to spend SLP within the ecosystem. The only thing that you can do is take SLP out of the game, which in return ruins the economy, because simply scholars don't have a way to spend SLP. Like, what is there for you to do? SLP, the only utility for SLP is breeding, and if you are a scholar, you're definitely not going to be looking to buy 2 versions with good genes and then breed them on top of that. So I think this is a very, very bad outlook on Axie Infinity, that everyone is holding just 3 Axies. Not everyone, but majority of people are holding just 3 Axies, meaning that there's no incentive to hold more. The game is built on top of a Ronin network, and we can see the daily active addresses. This is actually a good sign. The Ronin network is having a lot of active addresses, which is why I think the building program for Ronin is a very, very good sign. Not the Axie Infinity as a game, but the building program. I think there's going to be a lot of talent that builds on top of this chain and actually makes uses of those active addresses by building a game that people actually want to play and play on the daily. Something like a tower defense, something like some sort of a farm or a building game where you have to check in daily to do your thing. And then the article goes into some very basics, such as what is the team, how do you start playing the game, and we can see right here the official bridge is one of the most active bridges in crypto, ranking 3rd with 111k total depositors and 4th with 15 billion total value transfers. You can see right here Axie Infinity bridge, and the top bridges by volume, Avalanche being the top one and Axie Infinity being the 4th one with any swap. So yeah, this is good news. Ronin network is a very successful project. Now Axie Infinity might be on the decline as a game before Origin comes out. We'll see what that brings, but Ronin chain is a very, very successful project, and I think the builder program is going to amplify the success that Ronin has. Another way to get assets on the chain would be via Binance. You can simply transfer those tokens to your Ronin account. Within the game, we all know what happens within the game. You complete your arena. Adventure doesn't really have anything going right now. When it comes to breeding, again, very, very not well thought out system in my opinion when it comes to breeding. Because what happens in breeding is that you spend your hard-earned SLP to create a new Axies, but what that does is that reduces the value of Axies that are already bred. So if you have an Axie that has been bred 7 times, that means this Axie has consumed a lot of SLP, and therefore it should be rewarded for consuming that amount of SLP. So I think breeds that are higher in count, so 5 out of 7, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 7, should have some prestige that goes with them, and therefore rewarded rewarding those that were spending those large amounts of SLP, whereas that is simply not the case. When you are breeding, you spend a small portion of SLP, or at least the SLP fee wasn't that high for the last months, which caused the SLP crash, because AXS for some reason was still the biggest part, and breeding is the only utility, but that only incentivizes guilds and those higher budget investors to use SLP as the utility, because scholars simply don't need to. As we have seen in the graph above, 85% are holding 3 Axies. Most likely none of them are virgins, therefore they're not gonna use the breeding functions. Daily new Axie dashboards, you can see that all just simply on a decline, Axes as well as holders going down. We are probably gonna see a huge spike in March and April if everything goes to plan, because Origin should be releasing, and that should be bringing new people into the game, especially because there will be a free-to-play system. As you can see right here, can you take part without spending money? The only way you can do that is through scholarship and with free-to-play coming into Origin, but we'll see how that happens. The future of Axie Infinity, so the Origin that we have already spoken about, regarded to as a V3 Origin, will revamp a significant portion of the game. Updated graphic, updated game mechanics are just some of the things. The team is aiming to get Axie Infinity listed on both Android and iOS app. This should be possible because they will have a free-to-play system to allow more users to access the mobile version of the game. Land gameplay, that's expected to come out later this year. We have actual no date. It was supposed to come out December last year, but they said, nah, screw that, we are not ready, so they are working on land gameplay as well. No idea when that is going to come out. Sky Mavis has also started a builders program to fund community builders that are interested in building Axie related projects, and we have an example of a minigame in the making, Axie War Card. I've never actually heard of this, but it looks like there's something happening right here. Let's have a look right here. Yeah, looks like a fun little minigame. Looks like a Mario Kart that uses your Axies. I'm not sure if this is one of the builders projects that has been accepted already. I don't think they have given us a list or yet as of now, but if that comes to fruition, then I can guarantee you that a lot of people inside of the Ronin chain will be very excited to hold Axies that have uses in those games rather than in Axie Infinity alone, because this is a fun little game that you can play hopefully on your phone or whenever you are on the go, and it looks like it's skill based as well, so it's not just going to be farming SLP and increasing the problem that we already have in Axie Infinity. So a fun little project, and that's why I'm excited for Ronin Builders Program, a goofy Axie racing game, alpha demo coming at the end of Q1, start of Q2, so we should have it very soon. So that's going to be it for this video. Let me guys know, what do you think about the future of Axie Infinity? Personally, I'm very excited for the Ronin chain and the Builders Program, not so much for the Axie Infinity game itself and where it is heading with the play and earn system. We'll see what they come out with, what kind of solutions they come out with, but what we have seen from the latest article, it is not looking that good. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel for daily play to earn content, and I will see you in the next one.